Well, you know, you're in the throes of the political season when you have an issue like this, but there is, in a now deleted post on X, candidate Karianne Lisonbee, who is one of the Republican challenger, or the Republican challenger for opponent Blake Moore in next week's primary, has accused him of insider trading with an attached ad that mentions the same thing.
So, look, it's what she wrote on the ad, on the caption was, "I came from nothing, built my American dream with hard work. I will not watch politicians like Blake Moore spend away our children's and grandchildren's future while making millions from insider trading." So, of course, he responded and said, that is outright defamation.
Yeah, so what I thought that at one point she was talking about just congressional representatives in general, but she did name him. She did mention him by name.
Yeah.
And said politicians like Blake Moore spend away our children's future while making millions insider trading. So yeah, we was quite upset about it. She's now taken the ad down.
She's actually left the ad, but she took that one post down, but the ad still remains. She hasn't changed the ad. She just said that she took it down because the language was misleading or confusing. Let me look. She said confusing. So this is one of the things that I anticipate every time, but it's still frustrating, right? That you get towards the end of a campaign season and you just see all of these things come out, right? So we know in different races, for example, in the Stuart Adams race, there's a whole bunch of AI related ads, not related to using our artificial intelligence, but using AI to create fake images. I mean, this is a false accusation, says Blake Moore. There's some really serious consequences for insider trading. And he says absolutely not. I did want to ask you, though, about defamation, because defamation is a crime, but it's really different when you're a public figure, is it not?
Yeah, public figures are subject to criticism and subject to being called out. I mean, they're not subject to being lied about, so that still applies. But we expect when you are, and not just elected public figures or political figures. This also includes
celebrities and
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There's a higher
right.
bar.
But yeah, so it would be highly unlikely that somebody would file a defamation case against her, that Blake Moore's people would sue her for defamation.
Right.
Because you hold yourself out in the public spotlight, and you're bound to get some criticism, some things mentioned against you that aren't entirely true. I mean, this one seems fairly straightforward, accusing him of insider trading. Now, he may be involved in some stock trading or something like that arguably could say, well, he was involved in this.
There was something with a blind trust, but he didn't have anything to do with that.
Right. So, I mean, it is. What was the other one we had last week where somebody was claiming that Senator Curtis was supporting them? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Dan McKay, state senator. Yeah, they sent out a flyer saying that Senator Curtis was endorsing them, but he didn't.
Right. So you do these things in your flyers or your posts or your ads, whatever, and especially in the throes of the primary election. I mean, we're now a week away today. It's hard to clear something up. I mean, you could make a statement now, and by the time it got cleared up, that vote could be over, or some people may have already voted based on what they saw.
That's right. And that's exactly why this used to be called an October surprise, but why it's happening before the primary is because, no disrespect intended to the Democrat running in that race, but this race will probably be decided on Tuesday, right? That instead of saying, okay, well, we're going to have a competitive primary and then we're going to have a competitive general election, it's probably pretty certain that the person who wins on Tuesday in the Republican primary will be the person who wins the general election. So you see all of this churn right before the election.
Just as our four candidates yesterday may very well be
Yeah, that's right.
Almost certainly. So, and we saw at least one of our guests yesterday attacking
a different candidate.
Yeah,
right.
A candidate's pretty aggressively.
So one of the things I think people need to know is they really need to go take a thoughtful look at maybe why people are doing this. If you're the challenger, you're always going after the person that you're running against. You have to make a case for why you're different, why there needs to be a change, right? But it's interesting to me in this race that that's what Lisonbee is going after, because what I had heard all along is she was really focused on redistricting and hitting Blake on his participation in the, what was it? The
The
Independent
the
Redistricting
redistricting commission, right?
Commission. Yeah, and now this is something, it feels like it's totally out of left field.
She did
But
blame him for part of that redistricting
yeah, for sure. And I
situation.
think I think that had been the focus of her campaign. So even this surprises me that it came up with this argument. But I will say this: we're gonna have both of them on today, not at the same time.
Right, yeah.
That would be interesting. But we're gonna have, in the 11 o'clock hour, as we continue our Your Voice, Your Vote coverage, we're gonna have Representative Blake Moore first, and then State Representative Lisonbee on second. So 11:05 and then 11:20. So we'll have an opportunity to talk to them about this. But there's also other things too, right? So Blake Moore, this is not the first time he's been in a primary. In fact, I think every single time he's run, he's been in a primary. He has a significant financial advantage over the challenger, and a lot of times that's all you need.
And I think if I'm right, that early prognosticators, I don't know if there have been polling, think that he's comfortably ahead, or at least somewhat ahead in that race. So
There's been polling
she may
from
have
his
nothing to
organization.
lose, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
And just as Nate Bluen going after Ben McAdams a little bit, because maybe it's time to pull out all the stops. You got
well, and you already mentioned
days.
people, like, voting is out, the ballots are out, early voting is already well underway, and I just got notified this morning that my ballot has already been received and counted. So, like, I'm not in that district, but it wouldn't matter if you communicated that to me because I've already voted.
Well, our two guests today will be from the 2nd Congressional District, which is where I live. But because I'm not a registered Republican, I
You're
didn't even
just
get a
voting for
ballot.
race.
We don't have any Democratic primaries, so I didn't get to vote. But I'll be interested to see, who, and get an idea for who my next congressperson will be for my area. Blake Moore has served it very well. Karianne Lisonbee has a great reputation. I mean, I think this is a win-win for the 2nd District. And it'll be interesting to talk to them both and see kind of what their positions are.
Yeah.